In the last game of the first round of the Malaya Environmental Senior Hurling Championship, it was Birr against Shinrone in St. Rynas in Banagher. Birr, recently backboned by the St. Brendan's under-21 winning side, facing a Shinrone side who got their first adult league last year, beating Sir Kieran in the final last October. Shinrone, of course, backboned by a number of players who won 3 under-21 titles in recent memory. But it was going to be Birr who started off this game the brighter. Stephen Lonergan gathering possession and feeding into Emmett Nolan, who fired over his first point from an acute angle to set Birr off 1 point apiece early doors. It was Shinrone lining back out with influential marksman Conor Duhan, who lined out in the forward line, of course, inter-county hurler with Offaly, and he got his opening score of the game. But it was Birr who fielded a long ball, which was caught by Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan played a clever ball across the square to Emmett Nolan, who blasted home at the first attempt, showing good stick work. And Birr continued to dominate around the middle third with Colin Mulrooney feeding in a ball towards Stephen Lonergan. Lonergan looked to take on Michael Cleary back in onto his left-hand side, and Lonergan with a fine score in a blistering opening start by Birr, 1-3 to 2 points. But it was Derek Del Markham who collected a good ball in there at corner forward and fired over to put a goal between the sides, 1-5 to 5. Sean Ryan started to grow into this game and fed across a ball towards Dylan Quegan. Dylan Quegan, in his second year at senior hurling for Birr, fired over a beautiful score on his left hand side to maintain Birr's lead. Birr's chief marksman from place balls, Owen Cahill, tagged on another point from 40 metres to keep Birr 5 points clear. Meanwhile, at the other end, Conor Duhan was striking the ball well for Shinrone, and he popped over another free to keep Shinrone in touch as Shinrone looked to make inroads into Birr's lead within the last 10 minutes. Sean Cleary, Shinrone's ace marksman, got a ball, fed it out to his brother Kieran, who offloaded to Declan Cleary, and Cleary made no mistake, narrowing the gap to 3 points. It was going to be Shinrone who ended the half better. Adrian Cleary, who was starved the ball inside, he took on the Birr defence, eventually finding it out towards Del Markham, who nudged it off to Cleary, and Cleary fired over the bar from a narrow angle to give Shinrone some hope before they went in at half time, a 2 point game. It was Shinrone who really started to grow into this ball, and Declan Cleary kicked it forward, finding the unmarked Dahan, who went back on to his right hand side and whipped it over the bar to put 2 points between the sides approaching half time. So Shinrone finished the half the stronger, but it was still Birr who led at half time, 1-8 to Shinrone's 9. Shinrone started the half all the brighter with Sean Cleary getting inside his marker Craig Taylor and firing over the bar for his second score of the game, and a 1 point game. It was Conor Duhan now facing into the breeze, who struck a huge score from his own 65 straight between the posts, and we had a level game in St. Rynas. Birr 1-8, Shinrone 11 points. It was Owen Cahill who was a steady source of scores all day, tapped over another free from close range. But it was Tom Bulger who eventually got the telling score of the game, marauding forward, instead plugging the ball in front of him, and Bulger one-handed lashed a superb shot beyond Conor Cleary in the Shinrone goal, and Birr's tails dropped. They kept going forward, and Dylan Quegan nipped in, and he got his second score of the game to really put daylight between the sides as Birr raced 5 clear. In the last moments of the game, Conor Duhan got a penalty for Shinrone, seemed to lift up the ball and strike it well, but the evergreen goalkeeper in the Birr goals, Brian Mullins, deflected it out for a 65. A brilliant save by the Birr netminder at 40 years of age. And with that, Birr got the opening 2 points of this year's Senior Hurling Championship Round 1.